Hey, welcome to the Paul Santos Live Show.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here because people know the Silverstein name. So let's go back to, I don't know if it's the beginning, but it's a while ago. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to that clothing store, Silverstein's. That was your dad.
That was my dad. It was actually my great-grandfather started in 1900. So I was the fourth generation in Silverstein's. Quite a run.
So now when Silverstein's closed the clothing store, it was a sad day because I remember a lot of people like, oh man, we used to go there all the time. But then you decided to go in a different direction. You went into the restaurant business. How did that all happen?
Well, they're very similar in a lot of ways, but I grew up in a family that liked to cook. And, the fact is that there wasn't a place in this area that met my expectations. So I said, what the heck, I might as well start my own restaurant. But for 4 years, I ran Silverstein's and I was in the restaurant business.
Wow.
So
nice. So was Not Your Average Joe's, was that the first one?
That was the first one right here in Dartmouth, Mass.
Yeah. And that really grew and eventually became a chain restaurant. How'd you go from just a single restaurant to this chain?
Well, that was a big mistake that I made, but
really? I thought that was a good thing.
No. It's never what it appears to be. But yeah, we grew to 30 restaurants in 6 states, over 2,000 employees, and unfortunately became quite a burden with all those people. And I really look forward to getting back to my roots here in New Bedford.
Right. So when it became a chain, like what happened? It just kind of, you lost control of the whole thing?
Well, what happened, you show up in Philadelphia or in Washington and you walk in, nobody knew your name, and maybe the place wasn't as clean as you wanted it to be, or the food wasn't as good. And eventually you find yourself where you're not that happy anymore.
Yeah.
And you realize maybe it's time to move on. But I did it for 25 years. I gave the core of my life to it. And it was a great run. I learned a lot. And had I not done that, I wouldn't have had the education experience to do what I'm doing now.
Now, obviously, you then brought back Joe's Original. So it's the same place, it's the same location, the same great food and everything else, but you kind of broke away from the chain.
That's correct. When I left Not Your Average Joe's in 2018, I purchased back the original restaurant, and I subsequently changed the name to Joe's Original. It seemed to make a lot of sense to me. And while there's a lot of similarities, we've actually gone back to our original roots, and not as we follow the other pattern.
Now tell me about Cisco, because that was a location. You had Davy's Locker down there. You had the old Smugglers, of course. So a lot of people have memories from that. Well, now it's Cisco, and what a great location. When you're down there, you don't even realize you're in New Bedford. It feels like you've traveled somewhere far away. I mean, what a great idea, and how that came together so beautifully.
Well, like everything I've done, it always begins with somebody telling me it's never going to work. And so it wasn't supposed to work, but I had this vision, and Cisco's over in Nantucket. Have you been there? And so I saw that, and I saw the other elements of it, and I just had this vision right out of the box, and lo and behold, it worked. However, COVID did derail us a bit, and we delayed for about a year. But it's been a lot of fun, and you're right. You don't know if you're in Key West or you're in San Diego, and it just transformed you to another place. So it's been a huge success.
Nice. And it almost feels like, you got to stick your neck out a little bit. Obviously, you got to put some money on the line, put some capital down, right? And you never really know if it's going to work. I mean, you might think it will, and you think there's a great chance it will, but, you are taking a little bit of a chance. What's it like to take a chance on something like that?
Well, I've been doing it for quite a while. It's never quite as risky as it seems. There's a lot of calculations, there's a lot of math going on. And whenever I take a risk like that, I always work on what is the worst case scenario and make sure that it's survivable. So that's how we do it. But I've done it a number of times, and you have to sign personally for the bank debt, and you got to take the risk. But as you know, with risk comes reward.
Now tell me about some of the other places, Cultivator Shoals. You also have Black Whale, the one now in Dartmouth and Peyton Aram. So you're redoing the National Club, which is really kind of a rough and tumble kind of a place. So, you got your finger in a lot of different stuff. What about all that?
We had a lot going on. By the way, it wasn't when I left Joe's or retired from Joe's in 2018, the plan was really to only have one restaurant, maybe two. So we now have 7 restaurants. National Club will make 8, and we've got a couple other things in the works. It's just, we've been opportunistic, real estate driven. The Black Whale has been the best thing the best thing I've ever done. I thank Albert Santos for that. Is he related to you?
No.
Okay, just checking. No, it's just been a lot of fun. I have my son in the business now, which makes 5 generations of Silversteins in New Bedford, continually operating for over 120 years. So yeah, it's just been really fun. And one of the things that happens is we're out of the limelight of Boston, and so we're not competing with all the hot chefs who are hot today and not so hot tomorrow. And it's been very stable and rewarding here in New Bedford.
So I hate to ask the question, but what's in the future? I mean, it seems like the future is now for you, but anything coming up that we don't know about?
Not really. I'm sure there'll be things down the road that we do. Again, it's really kind of real estate related. What are the opportunities? I'm sure we'll do things. But again, my son's in the business. He's 28 years old, and I'm sure he has some aspirations beyond me. So
Let's hear it. Let's hear it for Steve Silverstein and a lot of the vision down here in New Bedford. Well, New Bedford's my hometown, so I love New Bedford. I love the waterfront. I love the whole #1 fishing port and all that stuff. So your restaurants always seem to capture that.
Exactly. That's why we want to do the Fisherman's Club. We want to bring back a real rowdy fisherman's bar. Yeah, that's the plan for the National Club. Yeah, just like the old days.
You're kidding, right?
Yes, I am kidding. No, actually, the plan for the National Club is to do a Southwestern Tex-Mex Mexican style concept. They'll skew young, very vibrant. Maybe have a mariachi band, and just a really fun place with bold flavors and beautiful looking food and just a good time.
Gee, that's great. So now you got it covered. Listen, this is unbelievable. Okay, you got the Cisco, you got the Black Whale down in Peyton Arrow. Now you got the Mexican food, Cultivator Shoals, stop for a drink afterwards. I mean, every single idea, it seems like you jump right on it.
I have a couple more ideas.
You want to share them with us?
Maybe a steakhouse, an Italian bistro. There's a couple more ideas. So, no, we just love this town. It's been great. The city's been really supportive, and just super happy to be in this great little area.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate Steve Silverstein. Why do I keep stumbling over your name? Steve Silverstein for being with us here on the Paul Sanson Live Show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Steve Silverstein.